feel like I want to start this video and say this is an unpopular opinion, but I don't think it's really an opinion. I think this is just what I'm hearing is what I'm releasing, right? And it's like this this way in which we are going about this day and age, this screen to screen content creation. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. The whole engagement thing, engage from the bottom up thing, that whole thing. There's something quite not right about that. And here's the thing: I don't expect like anyone to just take my word for it, right? This is just what I believe that the Lord is like showing me. He's like, there is a way in which man is going that only leads to death. If you think of God's love as wrath, like the wrath of God is also his love, then for his children to be enslaved to like building something for themselves, this would make him angry. This would arouse an anger in him, a jealousy in him. That's all love. Because he's like, my people do not know how I feel about them. And so they're going about and trying to establish their own righteousness. It's incentivized to get views, and here's how we get views. Here's how we're going to play the game. And some people are playing the game and seeming like they're being rewarded for playing that game well. And then they're teaching other people to play the same game. And I'm scrolling on my phone, I'm just like, I don't even know about this. God, like, why do I feel this way with this thing particularly? This attention grabbing, got to get the right angle, got to catch someone's attention. Like, if you build my account, I'll build your account. Like, following for the sake of following, like creating content that's talking about creating more content, but it's emptiness behind it. And I feel like the Lord is just like, there's going to be a time where what has been sown will be reaped. And you can take this as positive and negative if you want, but I would say it's more so neutral. Just what a person has sown, they will reap. Right? And it's not just like, if I'm building my own legacy, then there's going to be a time where that's shaken, and whatever is not bolted to the ground, meaning bolted down in faith, meaning God has built it, it's going to be torn down. And that, to me, is what will be reaped. Right? And the other side of that is the people that God has been humbling in this hour. The ones that have come to him where the Holy Spirit has showed them they cannot see. And so they go to him and receive the grace to see. And what they see is a systematic world of slavery, and do it for yourself and get it for yourself. And here's how we can incentivize views. Here's how we can do these tips and tricks to grow each other's accounts, right? Here's how we can do all these things. But all of it is rooted in ourselves. And I believe there's going to be a time where that's exposed. A shaking that happens where it's like, it's God's love that is also his wrath that puts an end to us going out and getting it for ourselves. But I think in the time being, well, this is back because I think I skipped over something. Though that's the reaping and the sowing according to self-effort, according to trying to get it for yourself, a shaking coming into the earth and basically putting an end to that and tearing down what a man has built in his own strength, right? The common normalized way of going about it and getting it yourself, right? And the other side of that where humility or whatever, God has put you in a season of waiting on him and you are humbled by that. And I experienced that so damn much, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm just like, I don't seem to be prospering on here. I don't even know what this is. The more I'm in it, I'm like, I don't know what this is. I don't know if I want to be a part of it. Part of it makes me sick. Only because I believe God is showing me a new thing. But anyway, it's like, what has been sown will be reaped. And so what God has built, no man will tear down. But when the workers labor, they labor in vain, because they are working for themselves. So what does God do with his children? He comes in and says, you have normalized systematic slavery. I have to come expose this blindness in you. Those that have been exposed in their blindness are brought under his wing in this way where now you are looking to him to be the builder. You are looking to him to be the one to sustain you, to provide a hope and a future for you, one that is not torn down by the shaking of the earth. And I think this is where he's like, what he's been telling me or whatever, he's just like, let them keep going in the way they are going. You're not going to be able to convince people that they are blind. It doesn't really work that way. It will be a conviction by the Holy Spirit, like the Holy Spirit has convicted me. Because you only know one way. And if darkness has been normalized, that way is to go and get it ourselves. But that cannot stand. That cannot be sustained for long periods of time. And it is good that it cannot, because it really is just like slavery that works. Where you're like striving to be this happy, comfortable slave or whatever, one who's able to have the platform, have the views, and continue receiving like revenue for that. And people are greatly more encouraged to stay doing the same thing that they're doing because they're getting paid for it, which is telling them you're doing the right thing, you're doing the right thing, which is a stroke of the ego, which is just like you can see, you can take care of yourself, you can take care of yourself. And I feel like the Lord's just like, they don't know how much they can't see. They don't know how blind they are. They don't know how much they're a slave to a system. Take it back to Him, man. I mean, this is just what's coming to me. This is just what's coming to me. And I'm looking forward to a time where what the Lord has spoke to me comes to pass. And it won't be this, aha, I told you so, but it will just be what was true remained. Justice truly did prevail. Right? I've never seen the righteous forsaken, that sort of thing. Right? Because I don't think it's so like malicious, sinful behavior or like a sinful perspective. I think because it's become so normalized, you don't know that you're in it. And that's what makes you blind. And so you have a lot of blind people leading blind people, growing for the sake of growing, trying to go viral without even knowing what that is or what that would bring to you. You have no idea. And I'm looking at this thing and I'm like, there's no substance behind these words. There's no substance behind this content, but it is very pretty. Right? And I feel like the Lord's just like, yeah, it's deceiving many people. Because people think they already know the way. They're being led astray. And you will have to be shown that you don't know the way. And that you are blind. So that God comes into your weakness and gives you the grace to be able to see. And once you see, you will see the systematic slavery that has been so normal, right? As you come away from that. And I think that's what He's having me do. Because it's not something that's just like I could always see. No, the story of my life is I was exposed in my blindness. I had no idea how blind I was. Because darkness has become so normal. It's become so normal to do it. And we ask God to help us manage our own darkness. And I believe that He will meet you there. Right? He is a relational God. He knows that we don't know any better. And so He will meet us there. So I don't know who this video is even for them. Because it really is just like, I feel like the Lord's just like, they will have to see for themselves. But those that have been waiting on me to build their lives, that have not been trying to make something happen in the interim, but is looking to me for a hope and a future, which is very much a grace thing, because a lot of us are very uncomfortable being humbled in that way, where it seems like our life is like completely standstill. But He's like, they will see. And then the reaping and the sowing, there will be a contrast between what I have sown in them, what has been sown by faith, that will become unshakable in the future, versus what a person has sown in their own strength, that depends upon the own work of their hands, that they, in the interim, may be looking like they're so prosperous, right? But I believe there's a day and age where the justice will be restored and the balance will be restored. And those that have waited on the Lord. And it's no good for anybody to be in the bondage of that system anyway. This is what I believe makes it his wrath is His love. It's because He's like, you were made to be free. You weren't made to work for yourself like this. You weren't made to perform for views. You were not made to perform for viewership. To go viral as some kind of like what is that? You go viral and then what?